Try to hopefully get that moved. Hopefully it's kind of hard. I mean, you move it with a tractor. That is such a huge eggplant. I don't know if we'll get our tiller hooked up to the tractor as planned, because I also wanted to work onto the post hole digger. And I believe our season has changed. And the reason of saying that, because pine straw, we're in August, it's already fallen. Now I have mowed down there, so I mowed up the pine straw. I like to rake it up, but onto the trees, the pine trees, all my pine trees, the pine straw is falling. You can see the pine needles turning brown. We also have been watching the leaves fall. I mean, everywhere. I mean, this has been mowed, so. And this just fell. So we've got the leaves falling from the trees. The grass has slowed down a little bit. Now we was in extreme heat. When I say extreme, it was extremely hot. Sweat, your whole body, just pouring sweat. But the sweet potatoes did harvest faster than I even expected at 100 days. Huge potatoes. The peanuts are ready, a little ahead of their schedule. The okra over there is already starting to go to seed. So we see that tree right there. It produces at some point in time like worms to go fishing with. But you see the leaves that's all over the ground. Now this is always my first sign of, one of my first signs of that fall is coming. Which you see all these leaves. And you see how the colors on those leaves on that tree is. So I was going to continue picking okra. And I noticed, I could tell by looking at the plant that it's wanting to go to seed. So we're really like a month ahead here on everything. Everything, we're in August. We're having things change and take place. Things have been doing that for a while. I've been watching the weather, I've been watching things around here, and it's like we are 4 to 6 weeks ahead of the season. When these pods, you think you can pick the little ones and eat them, but when this starts to go to seed, even these little ones will get hard. So what's taking place here now, we're just letting them the plants go so that we can get some seed, because the plant itself has already decided we're going to seed. Now we're in August. This is very, very unusual for us. Should have had another month at least, 3 weeks of being able to pick okra. But hey, the plants know what they're doing, right? So why is our seasons ahead? Well, I believe our seasons have changed. I personally think that we're already stepping into fall. The temperatures suddenly, screaming hot. Not to say it won't get hot again here on the southeast coast. Screaming hot to suddenly tolerable temperatures, cool temperatures. And that's why it's very important to always watch the plants, watch the earth, watch what's going on around you. Don't just listen to the weather. Don't say, okay, we're in the summer. Because the Bible talks about we'll get to a place we won't know what season we're in. So actually, we're already there. We've been there. But this year has been faster. It's been fast. And you see that this is a banana plant. These banana plants get huge, especially with this rain that's taking place. The base of it just gets humongous real fast. But I always watch these banana plants, and it's just like they're seasoned. They're just, last year I got bananas, right? So this year it's like they're not as big as they normally are, which last year about this time I had bananas. So I'm just watching things change, and I believe we have stepped into fall. So if we stepped into fall already, then that means that we'll step into winter early. And in some places in the state, their season's already changed, the weather's changed, they've turned into really almost freezing temperatures. I had a feeling this was taking place. I've been watching it all summer, and that's why I have been pushing, trying to get things done. Because summertime is when I get my stuff done. I don't like cold. I freeze up, okay? I'm from the South, and your body gets accommodated to this heat, to these temperatures. And when it gets and I don't allow my body to stay in the air condition to get accommodated to that coolness, because then you can't go outside, you can't do anything. And God calls us to work. You know, we have our seasons to work, not lay up. And so no matter what, you got to, if you got something going on, you got to push to get it going. Not counting we're into a hurricane zone. I got an apple up there I need to get off of there. And these apples right here, I cut one. They look just like my grandma's apples. I believe it's Granny Smith. And I cut into it. It tasted just like my grandma's apple. She would go out there to the apple tree, get apples, and make an apple pie. And I'm so thankful to have a tree that reminds me of her. But also, I see another apple back there. It reminds me of her. But also, when I cut into it and eat it, it was more dense apple. It wasn't soft, you know, like at the grocery store, which those are old apples anyhow. But it wasn't, and they last longer. It had a really good texture, because the store-bought is totally different than homegrown. So if we've headed into fall, this is why one of the reasons everything is shut down right now. Because we don't want to get to a place that the seasons change so rapidly, then we got so much cleanup that we can't get to the cleanup. Like I have to go back in this bed. There's zinnias coming up. I don't want zinnias to be growing. I done cleaned that bed up to a degree, and I don't want zinnias to grow. We got pink eye purple holes that's coming up out there, and I'm gonna have to get that tilled up soon because they're gonna grow real fast. Temperature's right. We got the rain, and I don't want pink eye purple holes to grow out there. I want to go ahead and get the garden ready, get things up. You see, I've got water hoses around here. It's a process around here. And so if our seasons change, then we've got to be on it. Watching my other grapevines, the leaves are changing. That always tells me the seasons change. Now this grapevine is old, and I've always wanted to extend the trellis of it, you know, out so it won't be hanging all to the ground and make cleanup a lot easier. But this thing is loaded down with grapes. It's kind of good to be like this. If I can get in here, it's kind of good to be like this because it kind of hides them from the birds from eating all my grapes. So it's loaded down in there. What I do is I mash them to see how ripe they are. They're still hard. And then also I go through, I believe it's a muscadine, but or maybe it might be a muscadine, but then I walk around and see other grapes, because some of them, of course, you know, they'll ripen up before some of them will ripen up before the others. Oh, do I see one? I'm trying to get in there. All these leaves. Oh yeah, it won't be long. You see, that's got a little tenderness to it. It'll be sour. But what I need to do is pull these leaves up, make sure I don't miss my harvest here, and get some of these grapes before some animal goes in there and finds them. A little sour. Wow. Loaded down in grapes in here. And that's from making sure to trim off keep these things trimmed back so it'll produce. That will never make any grapes, even though it's trying to. So take a notice in all these trees, the leaves. Our seasons change. We've already changed. People don't really pay attention to what's going on around them. This is not from drought. This is not just because it's losing its leaves just because. But the leaves are showing signs we are ahead of the game. So next year I'll be sure to fertilize these better or more. It's different soil back here. But we got our grape orchard up and going, and that was the focus for this year. Up, poles up, wire up, grapevines moved, up and going. We'll get that trimmed off back down there again. So thank you for watching. If you think your season has changed, you've stepped into fall, leave a comment. See, look at those leaves. I don't know if the camera's showing it, but it is definitely changing. These leaves will be off of here for long. All the trees are showing signs. All my fruit trees are showing signs that the season has changed. So the conclusion of what season we are in, I believe here on the southeast coast, I just believe around the world that, you have to excuse my hair because I've been out there harvesting peanuts, but I believe around the world we're going to see winters like we've never seen. I went in there, I had some feed, some chicken feed in a container. I fed them this morning. I took and set the container down because I didn't give them a whole lot. And I took and set it down because if they need some later on, I'll feed them. About an hour later, going in there, and I put a lid over it so no rats or mice would get into it. And there was ants getting all in it. About another hour, it'd been like, oh my God. So I had to blow these ants off, and I said, you know what? I've never seen that before. I'm sure other people have, but usually I can lay a container down, put something over it, and then that way if they need feed later on, all I got to do is pick it up and take it to them. This time, and it wasn't on the ground, it was in my shed, you know, door open, but near the door, so easy access. And I said, man, I believe we're going to have hopefully we won't have a bad winter here. And I live on the southeast coast, so if we get a bad winter, we had one bad one last year, actually two, ice, snow. We don't never get snow. I mean, it was like a decade storm. So that's telling me that what I've been thinking of the seasons, that, you know, be prepared. Always stay prepared. Always think ahead. Always do ahead. Always be ahead of the game. Even though God is in control, we have to put our hands to the plow and not look back and keep on keeping on and do what we can do, so that when something happens, we're not devastated. We're ready. We're on it. See you on to the next video.